Hey everybody, my name is John, and I'm finally revealing the truth, guys. Here, today, right now. I'm turning myself in. It was me. I clogged up the internet tubes by writing, directing, and producing a flawed web series for air on the Machinima network revolving around these guys. If you'll allow me to be serious for a moment, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for the emergency service workers who crawled through the tubes courageously and removed the blockage before drowning tragically in the internet that came rushing through. Okay. I think their souls are finally at peace. I started the show when I was about 15 and stopped at 25. And to have pissed away a decade filming myself playing with toys, I'm certain that the show guarantees a midlife crisis. I've already been shopping for a performance sports car that I couldn't afford in 10 lifetimes as a way of initiating myself into mature adulthood. I'm sure glad I'm not a kid anymore with a sense of wonder and little responsibility, because being an adult is so great. We've got bills, loans, and taxes. What do you stupid kids have besides your fucking cartoons and your video games? You guys actually have to have fun. We get to pretend to have fun. Imagine that. We get to play pretend all fucking day. Jealous? Alright, here's the deal. I'm broke, and I could be wrong, but I feel as though I have something to offer. What you're about to see are two cuts of a pilot episode for a satirical video game review show I tried to get off the ground almost a year ago and failed. It's called Chemotheraplay. The premise is that I play a deeply disturbed and biased character wearing a white mask called the chemotherapist, who claims to be a white cell in the circulatory system of the gaming industry and eliminating the cancer, and I review games, beloved games ranging from retro to modern titles. The reviews are, of course, blatantly unfair and riddled with logical inconsistencies. The joke being that I actually like the games I'm targeting, and if there is a cancer killing gaming, my character personifies it and he doesn't even realize the fact. The language is offensive, but I was never trying to offend for its own sake or based on genuine hatred. I'm confident that what remains of my fan base knows this, and life's too short to hate anybody anyway. The show's purpose was strictly comedic and to comment on the industry. I felt that the character reflected the hostile environment I grew up in playing video games. The first cut is the first that I submitted, and it was deemed too extreme for the network to distribute, mainly in regard to its opening scene involving self-mutilation. I also tried to be clever with the jokes, and I was told that the target demographic wouldn't get it or understand what I was trying to do. I'm pretty sure you guys won't have a problem understanding it. It's not that deep. The second cut is a toned down version, but with some new material thrown in. The music is also slightly improved, and the dialogue is much clearer, so each cut has its pros and cons. So take a look at them if I haven't put you in a coma already. And afterwards, if you have time, please post a comment. Tell me which cut you liked more and why, whether or not you found the first too extreme, and what you liked and disliked about both. Or just call me a talentless cunt, create a group on Steam dedicated exclusively to hating me, and then send me an invitation to join. Great job, by the way, guys, because you'd invite Hitler to a bris, wouldn't you? The game that's reviewed in the pilot is Dark Souls. The pilot was made when Dark Souls was at the height of its buzz, but it's pretty much completely irrelevant now that there's DLC coming to the sequel that's already fucking been out forever. So sit back, relax, and try to enjoy it anyway. Thanks.
If I were to shed any fluid on the grave of a fanboy, you can bet your ass it'd be yellow. You want to know what I hate about fanboys? They swallow every recycled turd their favorite organization shovel out with unbridled enthusiasm and without question or judgment. They allow nothing to obstruct their loyalty, not even cold hard facts. What facts are those? That the Xbox, in all of its forms, is our glorious and almighty king and will never be dethroned. Hell yeah, motherfucker. Look at that shit. Long live the king. You think this is hardcore? You should see my ass.
Better yet, wait till you see what's going on my forehead.
Welcome to Chemotheraplay, the cure for the cancer-killing gaming. I'm the Chemotheraplayer, a white cell in the circulatory system of the gaming industry punching cancer square in the dick. What is the cancer? Take your pick. Filthy plebeian casuals, PC gamers, indie developers, storytelling, with the obvious exception of stories about the military and terrorism revolving around 30-something males with 5 o'clock shadows. That's my shit, son. That's true shit. What's the deal with the mask? The deal is that I'm speaking not only on my own behalf, but that of the entire hardcore gaming collective throughout the world. For that reason, I choose to remain strictly anonymous. I am Legion. You cannot trace me. You cannot stop me. You can, however, follow me on Twitter, assuming you're comfortable with living life on the absolute edge. But be careful, you might just get cut. Dark Souls is the worst game ever made, and the spiritual successor of Demon Souls, which, coming by little surprise, is also the worst game ever made, solidifying From Software's role as the most abysmal game developer in the history of the entire universe, and that of every one of its fans as apes with severe cognitive hindrance. Maybe they'd clue in if they weren't too busy picking lunch from the hair around their assholes. What kind of a name is From Software anyway? Software from where? Your ass? Dark Souls has gathered a wide audience of pseudo-hardcore gamers who merely want to be known for attempting an impossible game in a laughable attempt to be edgy, with the hope of a suck job from a woman who miraculously gives a flying fuck. Good luck with that, you fucking nerds. Newsflash from, if you make the gameplay require too much thought, it ceases to be enjoyable. Whose dick among you do we have to suck to be able to mash one button and just have a good time? Why is Dark Souls the worst game ever made? Because at some point throughout a chaotic binge of hardcore drug use during the game's development, From thought it would be a good idea to make the game completely fucking impossible to beat. Excess in moderation, From. I'm the most elite hardcore player in the entire fucking world. If I can't beat it, what hope does anybody else have? Don't misunderstand me. I could beat it using only my ass if I wanted to. Unfortunately, I'm not a fedora-wearing loser who's okay with pissing away a lifetime trying to suck his own cock and progressing through the game via endless trial and error. I'm too busy eating pussy. In a curious effort to worsen the worst game ever made, an expanded and subpar port was later released for PCs, subtitled the Prepare to Die Edition. And aptly so. If I were to play a worsened version of what little I've suffered through, I know I'd feel absolutely motivated to kill myself. 5 minutes in and I was appalled to have not come across a single explosion or a pair of rockin' tits. Projectile weapons are limited to lame-ass crossbows and magic spells, so the true gamers among you shouldn't hold their breath awaiting a fully automatic assault rifle, or even a Glock for Christ's sake. Following the game's release, undercover From employees and marketers infiltrated popular media outlets such as GameSpot and IGN and gave the game 9s and 10s out of 10. We'd all like to write our own reviews, especially me being the most hardcore gamer in the world. I'm a perfect fucking 10. Morons among you may consider me biased, but I give credit where it's due, and that's strictly on the Xbox One. As a result, and with obvious exemption of the Call of Duty series, I will rate all games not developed for the Xbox One fairly from a scale of 0 to -10. After careful consideration, I've chosen to give Dark Souls a solid -10, and quite frankly, that's being generous. Thank yourselves very much for watching the show. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tune in next time if you're not a pussy. I'm your host, the Chemotheraplayer, curb stomping cancer and making the game industry and community a little more tolerable every day. Say that again. You lost the territory? Outstanding work, you mouth-breathing faggot. Why couldn't your dad have shown some mercy to our team and busted in your mom's mouth? Do us all a favor and die freakishly in a fire.
So, what'd you think? Great? Shit? Too extreme for you? Do me a favor and hold the racial and homophobic slurs until you see this next cut.
You know what pisses me off about fanboys? Their ridiculous devotion is based on popular opinion and not rational thought. If I were to shed fluid on a fanboy's grave, it sure as shit wouldn't be tears. You all know full well what this beauty is. There's more than enough of my opinion to prove that the Xbox One is the most powerful device in the universe, which launches with Call of Duty Ghosts, the best fucking game ever made. Coincidence? No, it isn't. This is also gonna be my latest tattoo. Well, not exactly. I'm thinking my inner forearm. I know what you're thinking. Too hardcore. For pussy boy casuals, maybe. I'm the chemotherapist, not to be confused with Chemo the rapist. I'm the most elite hardcore gamer in the world. A white cell in the gaming industry circulatory system, punching cancer square in the dick. If you think this is hardcore, you should see what I carved in my ass. Better yet, wait till you see what's going on my forehead. Welcome to Chemotheraplay, the cure for the cancer killing gaming. What is the cancer? Storytelling, Sony, Nintendo, independent developers, casuals, PC gaming, fanboys. The list is endless and we have to fight back before it's too late. I take widely beloved games ranging from retro to modern day titles and explain precisely why Call of Duty Ghosts is so much better. On an unrelated note, I don't see the appeal in apples when oranges kick so much ass. I have a criminal background, but that's ancient history. How else was I supposed to get all this fucking equipment? Pay for it? If everything on the internet's free, everything else should be too. What's the deal with the mask? I choose to remain anonymous because I speak on behalf of every hardcore gamer in the world. I have no interest in drawing attention to myself, only the facts. I am Legion. You cannot trace me. You cannot stop me. Be sure to check out my personal blog and follow me on Twitter, assuming you're comfortable with living life on the razor's edge. Be careful, you might just get cut. Dark Souls is the worst game ever made and the spiritual successor to Demon Souls, which is also the worst game ever made. That isn't even possible, but developer From Software sought to make the impossible possible, except for the games, which are impossible. This is the result of a chaotic binge of hard drug use and because From Software hates its fans. The developer distributed the game throughout the world and undercover marketers throughout the media who gave it 9s and 10s out of 10. We'd all write our own reviews if it wasn't pathetic. Except for me. I'm a perfect fucking 10. The franchise has a cult following of neckbeards who want recognition for attempting an impossible game with the hope of a suck job from a woman who miraculously gives a flying fuck. Everybody knows that PCs are just low-end consoles for smelly-ass poor people. Instead of getting a real job like video game commentary and earning some dough, you goddamn PC gamers cried like bitches for a Dark Souls port. You're hindering the progress of the gaming industry. Buy an Xbox already or jump into traffic before I kill you myself. Based on this critical analysis, I give Dark Souls a -10, and that's being generous. Thank yourselves very much for watching. I'm the chemotherapist, curb stomping cancer and making the gaming industry and community a little more tolerable every day. What's that? I don't give a shit how old you are, kid. You take my kill, I take your life. I shouldn't suffer because your dad didn't bust in your mom's mouth, you little faggot.
There it is, Chemotheraplay. If you've got a moment, let me know what you thought of the cuts in the comments. What I'd like to do is set up an online crowdfunding campaign for the show or a show like it, either on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. If what you've seen is something you'd like to see more of, you can donate to the page, and if I hit a decent target, in exchange I'll develop a 6-episode season to start off with. I don't know what the target amount of money is yet. I'm still trying to figure out a fair amount to ask for. I'm about to start my last year of post-secondary and am currently first assistant directing a film on a temporary basis. But once I get started on production, if I get about 2 weeks to produce an episode, one to write it and the other to cut it together, I figure a few months' rent and utilities in exchange for a season, plus some cash for equipment upgrades if I need them, new games to review, and to feed my cocaine habit. I have about 4,000 followers on Twitter, and if each of them donated $1, that would be $3,995 worth of drugs for me to come up with funny ideas. I hardly think that's unreasonable.
Hello, I'm somebody who isn't John, and I'm here to talk to you about him, and how desperately he needs your donations. John doesn't own an Xbox One or a PS4, and without your contributions, he may have to make the best of his 360 and PS3 for years to come. John only owns 2 USB multi-taps, and if he doesn't receive funding, he may be limited to 11 ports for the rest of his life. At this extreme low angle, it appears that John has an LCD television that's as large as 42 inches. However, at this extreme high angle, we can see that he, in fact, has a television that's only 42 inches, and without your charity, will never have an 80-inch screen like his asshole neighbor. If he's watching this, you still owe me $20, by the way. The question is simple. Do you think John should have to suck dicks for money? Donate today and help give John the above-average standard of living he honestly, without sarcasm of any kind, believes he's entitled to.